Welcome back to Off the Ship. I'm Toby, and this is episode 6 of our 1966 John Deere 110 Round Fender rebuild series. This episode, we're going to be cutting in some valve geometry and then hopefully reassembling the engine. So pretty pumped, getting pretty close to the finish line, and I'm very excited. So with that, let's get to it. So in episode 5, after hours of lapping, I determined that I could not get around buying a Neway valve seat cutter tool. So I picked one up off of eBay. Pretty pumped. These things are pretty expensive, and I found a great deal, so I'm very excited. It is a Neway 102W valve seat cutter kit. So here we have the tool itself. It's got carbide blades for 2 sets of geometry, a 46 degree and a 31 degree. You know, my experience not being with small engines, I've lap valves, big valves in, but yeah, stuff like that. I have not done much in the way of this is my first experience with small engines, so it's kind of new to me, kind of fun. So kind of the idea here is that you drop this down the valve guide, and these carbides, you know, they just sit there and turn and cut away. You do it by hand. Yeah, simple as can be. So in our engine, we got a 45 degree main or sealing angle and a 30 degree valve seat narrowing angle. So essentially what this does is cut this angle in, but there's a spec for how wide that that main sealing surface can be, and that's 1/32. So you would cut this kind of main angle in, and then you would flip the tool over for the secondary angle. And that would create this geometry, and that, depending on how much you grind, that will narrow this main sealing surface. So the theory behind the geometry here is the 45 degree seat angle matches the valve face angle, ensures tight sealing. The 30 degree narrowing angle over here reduces the seat width, helping airflow into the cylinder. We've got the OG head with the hole in the block, and I think I'm going to start with that one, see how we do. Alrighty, here we are. Should probably get that exhaust valve out of there too. Pop that out real quick. Pretty sure these are just for putting them on, but no, they do seem to work for taking them off. Look at that. Pretty cool. All right, let's see what kind of trouble we can get to here. Oh, hey, this one does have a valve rotator. Look at that. That is awesome. All right, we got a valve. This turns out this engine did have an exhaust valve rotator. I am super pumped about that. Cool. I've been saving this baggie for something very important, and this is it. Well, I guess it's the 45 first. Hopefully that's it. Then they say, ensure that, all right, my teeth do clear the side of that, so we're good. I don't know if my teeth clear the side of this one, though. Yeah, we're good there, too. Didn't say anything about pressure, so just do moderate pressure. So look at that. That looks pretty darn good. Nice. Yep, I could use a little bit more right here. They were right. You can definitely figure this out very easily. So let's take a couple more turns. Oh, you dummy. Yeah, that's... That definitely was definitely a misstep. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is gorgeous. The other side and see if we can't make that happen. All right, we got some more on there. All right, now the couple. Yep, that's turning it. That's making it smaller. Ooh-wee. That looks pretty dandy to me. I am super pumped I got that tool. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Guess we'll tackle this one first. And I do have a exhaust valve seat if necessary, but figured might as well give this a try. That is, just want it a little bit larger. I mean, that is right on the spec. So let's, I think you want it a little bit larger so then you can bring it back down, narrow it down. So I'm going to keep going here. I think that is where we want to be. Yep. All right. Looks pretty good. Sweet. And for the intake. Pretty opened. We'll flip it around. Beautiful. Our valve seats are in good shape. Gotta admit, that was kind of a pleasant surprise. Every other thing I've done so far in this project has been an enormous struggle. You know, I didn't have the right tools, or didn't know what was okay and what wasn't, yada yada. And that was just about as easy as it comes. So now I can lap these in with some confidence. All right, we got our iSaveTractor.com intake and exhaust valves, part numbers, and try to do a little more lapping here. We got options now. Got fine and coarse. It's a funny story. An old boss of mine reached out, you know, and said, if I may, let me show you how to use these lapping tools properly. And you know, I was not offended at all. He's I really value his opinion. I just asked him if I could include it in the video. We'll hear back, but if this is in there, he said yes. So Brett is about to demonstrate how he was shown how to lap small engine valves with one of these tools right now. You know what? I'm gonna start with the, I don't know. I'm just gonna start with the exhaust. Yep, that is definitely easier. So I was kind of overly concerned. Oh man, that's perfect too. Look, right in the center of the land, that's where you want it. Oh, sweet. That makes me very happy. Before, I was trying to do something with lapping that I shouldn't have been. I was trying to, I don't know what I was thinking, but it was bad, and it was a bad idea. And I guess I'm happy I did it, because now I will never do that again, because that was dumb. And I have the tool. I know what I was thinking. I was trying to get around buying that tool, but I mean, that is right on the money. I couldn't be more happy with that. All right, that's lapped in. No wonder I look like an idiot to everybody watching who's ever done this before. Like, what is he doing? You just literally 1 minute. So thank you, Brett. He was very deferential and very kind, saying, hey, if you don't mind, let me show you a little bit what I know. If only he was like that for the 15 years I worked for him. I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. That. So this one is going to require, it's pretty good, but I'd like to see, there's some areas where the contact's slightly lighter, so just another couple of quick turns. Man, that is way easier.
Howdy, sir.
Hey.
What's happening?
I just tried. That is way easier.
Yeah.
I'm actually recording right now, so you're on YouTube. But dude, it took like less than a minute per valve. No wonder you thought I was an idiot, like going after it for. Well, you thought it for sure, and I was just like, oh man. So anyway, that was great advice. I really appreciate it, like always. And yeah,
thanks. Somebody taught me. It was just a long time ago. So
yeah. Right on, man.
Passing it on.
Awesome. All right, Brett. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, you got it. Bye.
All right. So, pretty darn happy here. That took 10 minutes. I spent hours lapping prior, and that was some great advice. So, you see, nice ring right in the middle of the seat. That's what we want. This one might be a little lower than normal. That would make sense because I took quite a bit of material off of here, but it's still pretty well centered. And this one's like smack dab in the middle, which I'm also very happy about. So, yeah, they're both 1/32 of an inch. Very consistent. So, yeah, I couldn't be more tickled with this. So today's turned out to be a pretty awesome day. With this discovery, exhaust valve rotator, super pumped. Very bizarre. These only came on tractors with the hydraulic lift, and so far as I know, that was not an option on my tractor. So maybe someone added one along the way, or who knows. I mean, this tractor was restored, so maybe I don't know. Hard telling, not knowing. But it's got one, and I'm going to reuse it, so I'm pretty pumped about that. The valve cutting tool was super easy to use, super intuitive, very pumped about that. Lapping went, I think, how it was supposed to. So all you people that were probably just shaking your heads, watching me lap and lap and lap and lap. Well, you were right. You don't know what you don't know, and I'm glad I did it because I'll never do that again. And lastly, I've got to take off because I'm going to go pick up the next project for Off the Ship YouTube channel. Super pumped. So I'm going to get going on that. I'm going to get some tools and some rigging and head on up to try to purchase our next project. It's the next day. Really just talk and work at the same time. Got a surprise work meeting popped up, so figured now would be a great time to get some lapping done on this head. Get that groove right there, like an idiot, I put on there when I was trying to pour it out the intake and exhaust. I think I can lap that out pretty well. In any event, we'll give it a shot. Little low spot right here, but that's flattening out quite nicely. Might just have to take a measure on this geometry. Although I don't think the narrowing angle really matters. It's the primary angle, so let's just take a quick look at that before I put the head on. But other than that, this is coming out good. Well, the instructions say to clean with soap and hot water, so I guess that'll do. All right, we're nice and clean. Get a little, so put some light machine oil on there. Hopefully PV Blaster fits the bill. My hopes is that will hold off the oxidation for a little bit. And I think we're ready to go. Today's the day. I'm gonna start reassembly of the engine. I think next is sliding the tappets in. The exhaust, let's see here, is on the PTO side. So, and then the intake is on the bearing plate side, which is the larger. These, in their range of motion, they do move pretty well. So then the next step here is to press in the PTO side bearing, just like that. When I started looking at these bearings, this is the rotary bearing set. Now, no, this is the iSafe tractor bearings. They did not come with seals, and the rotaries did. So I tried putting the rotary seals on the iSafe tractor.com bearings, and they just don't really snap in there that well. So we're going to run the rotaries. And we move over here to the John Deere manual. Be sure shielded side is up. All bearings must not be exposed to engine crankcase oil. So I'll likely put a little bit more grease in here right before I install lip seal. And that'll be that. Check out on the bench how, make sure it's fully bottomed. But that bearing is firmly bottomed in its bore, so we're good. This is kind of cool. This is in the John Deere manual. So install governor gear and cross shaft. Just the next step. Slide cross shaft into place from inside the block. So that's a cross shaft. It kind of looks like a T. A dowel with a flat bar off of it, which looks like it is actuated by the governor. The counterweights in the governor push out that pin, which pushes the cross shaft, which has got quite a bit of mechanical advantage. Place speed control disc on governor bushing nut and thread bushing nut in a block. So the speed control bracket and a regulating disc. I'm assuming the speed control disc is the regulating disc. That's just a nomenclature thing. So I guess we'll start installing this stuff, which means get a little more vertical here. This cross shaft looks considerably more beefy than the other one. Something I like as well. The washer, get the bush. That's about it. Get this far, we can kind of pull it back and thinking this one's in a little better shape, particularly if we can straighten it out a bit. Just a great job for the vise. So this hooks up somewhere in here, and I don't really know. I'll go here. Good, great, wonderful. Whoa, Mr. Weira. Screwdriver. Nice. And then I guess I can just clock this. Doesn't seem like there's any big reason why I can't move this around after the fact. That moves very freely, and I like that. Oh. Yeah, okay. All right. It is time for a camshaft. I say it's time for a camshaft. What I meant was it's time for a governor. And here we go. Putting this stupid thing on. Of course, this governor stop pin is tripped me up more than once. All right, we're on. That out, and that's how that works. Cool. I'm pretty glad I didn't use that one. Well, it doesn't necessarily matter because it's pressing this way, not this way, but I don't know. That thing, it's already got, when something gets a little bit of motion, it's not long before it gets a lot of bit of motion in my experience. So I think that was a solid move. And last but not least, let's see if we can screw this camshaft up all together. Seems pretty likely. All right, camshaft. This is the donor camshaft. Make sure these springs are still in place. They're very tiny little wires, so we want to have those in place. And then it sits down. Cool. I think what I'm going to do is get a little bit dab of grease, put it on here. That just holds it there while we slide the shaft through. Sweet. It says do not drive this to its final depth at this time, so I'm just going to tap it in thousandths or two just to keep it from going anywhere. I don't like that. That definitely makes contact with that valve. Tap it. You dummy. It's not, you'll never sit that low. All right. Mystery solved. All right, so now we measure the camshaft end play right here. It's supposed to be 5 to 10 thousandths. All right, we got 5 thousandths. We're supposed to slip it between the spacer or the shim. All right, that slides in there nicely. There's no real perceivable drag. Let's go 8 thousandths. That's slight drag. Alrighty. 8 thousandths it is. Install the new shorter camshaft pin. Drive the camshaft pin from the bearing plate side of the crankshaft into the PTO side of the crankshaft. So from the large opening to the small opening, basically. Drive the camshaft pin to a depth of 275 to 285 thousandths. All right, 275 thousandths. All right, that's pretty close to where we want to be here. However, this is getting interesting. Over here, that is definitely further than flush. To install the old, longer camshaft pin, drive the camshaft pin into the crankcase till the PTO end of the camshaft pin is flush with the mounting surface on the PTO side of the crankcase. It's got to be the older one because we cannot achieve that. So I'm just going to back this one off a little bit. So I just got this half on the machine surface, half on the pin. Pretty flush. Just going to check it again. Yeah. It's a slight drag. We're good. All right. Well, let's go press this in real quick. Oh, thank goodness we pressed that thing in, huh? Right here, the timing mark. You gotta line that up with the crankshaft timing mark. So, good if I stuck it in the right way. Now, if you can see that pin, that mark, but bring them together. I'm using the Let Me Ask hammer. Yeah, a little bit more to go. Sweet. This is compression, but we got the automatic compression release, which you're seeing there, okay? And exhaust. All right, that checks out. Nice and smooth. Cool. Man, I sure am glad we don't have balance gears to deal with. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages on timing the balance gears. So no balance gears, automatic compression release. If I ever mess with one of these things again, I'll avoid balance gears like the plague. These things are wild. You know, it might be a fun exercise, but I don't know. So this is here just to make alignment dowels, which maybe is for pulling the inner race over the crankshaft. I'm not really sure, but see what we got. Well, let's just get this thing dropped on there. So I guess this is the gasket, and the rest of them are simply shims. All right. I see. Yeah, that is easier. Coming down evenly. That snap, crackle, pop indicates we're probably not coming down evenly, which doesn't appear to be. All right. So this is a prime example of what not to do. Oh, man. Don't do that. That was dumb. It occurred to me as that was popping as it came down. Like, I wonder if I just sheared the gasket. And I did. So, oh yeah, that thing is way off. Yep, just ruined that. See my mistake? What's frustrating about this is there's plenty of things I don't know better in this job, but I definitely know better than to do that. And it actually occurred to me, I was like, maybe I should take a look at that. And it's like, no, it's probably fine. Yeehaw. Good thing here is that I can still use this to shim, and I can order a gasket and put it on. Came off just fine, so we're good. That was dumb. Alrighty. You say we try this again? Put the alignment dowels on first. Kind of how we got in trouble in the first place. Alrighty. Camshaft pin. .95 to 120 inch-pounds. Of course, we have Newton meters and foot-pounds. 10 foot-pounds is the lowest this thing goes, and that's what that is. So, who knows? Hopefully, it'll be all right. Oh, so first, seat the bearing by first tapping the tapered end of the crankshaft with the mallet, and tap the PTO end of the crankshaft. So you get a mallet. Check distance between bearing ring and crankshaft shoulder with a feeler gauge. Refer to specifications page 1518 for crankshaft end clearance. So 1518, crankshaft end clearance, 2,000ths to 23,000ths. That's quite a spread there. So check that out. I guess we'll start it. I don't know. You get 22,000ths. Definitely will not fit. Now I got 10,000ths. Yep, that just fit. A little bit of drag. Nice. Let's get 15,000ths. Yeah, that's no doing. Try 12,000ths. Yeah, that's a fair amount of drag. So, call it 12,000ths. All right, I've got to break off. Got a couple things to do.
All right, good morning. It's the next day, and I think we're going to try to put some piston and connecting rod bits together. Plan of attack is to install the piston, wrist pin, clips on the connecting rod. I got up like even very early for me, and I must have spent 10 minutes trying to find the big end bearings before it dawned on me there were no big end bearings. It's all integral to that connecting rod, so that was pretty funny. But so we gathered all the parts, and we'll get the piston rings set up, check end gap, probably set those in place, and hopefully install it in the engine. So a lot of prep work, but the actual building of the engine is going pretty quick. So anyway, all right, let's get to it. I think we'll just set this aside. So we're just going to put this together. And I don't have any engine oil for this. I do have some 10W30 in a bag. which is an interesting new phenomena from a generator, I think. So this is what we're going to use. I've 100% co-opted Little Buddy's raspberry dish, so they're very satisfying. Where are these things? Oh, yeah, that's a very small. I imagine not compressing these any further than I need to is important. You'll be in. So give this thing a little. It seems to be in its hole, or half of its hole. Alrighty. Yeah, I forgot to mention was that I went and sourced a genuine Kohler connecting rod. So I still have the unlabeled, unbranded, on anything rotary. I'm assuming rotary, but I don't know what this is. So that's an original con rod, and when I screw that one up, we're gonna go with a no name. This is our high-safe tractor piston ring setup. According to our instructions, I think we have style 1. That compression, upper compression ring, the chamfer facing up and in. Okay. This is it's just got a notch in there. It's a scraper ring. That notch is out and down. Oil control ring. I don't think this really matters much. It just kind of is. So the way they recommend you check end gap is basically you just get a little oil in here. You just push the ring that you're going to install down kind of halfway through the stroke of that ring and take feeler gauges and measure. So 7 thousandths to 17 thousandths. Well, 18 does barely pass. Well, okay, well, I don't really know what to do about that, but other than slam it back together and see what happens. Yeah, 18 passes on that too. Honestly, I'm not going to worry about this too much until I need to. I don't know. Can't imagine that's a big deal. So we got like 18. The max is 17 for end gap. My gut here is it doesn't really matter that much. The big thing is you don't want them touching. They can break off. And I moved it, I checked it high checked it low. I don't think there's a lot of taper to this cylinder, so I don't know. See what happens. Okie doke, back to the piston. We're gonna try to install these. Okay, it looks good. I mean, this looks... It's the upper. It's just not exactly what we want, but it is in. All right, well, let's try the lower now. So triple, quadruple check, scraper ring. It's got the rabbet and it's pointed down. Rabbet's right here, it's pointed down. Not the most impressive ring expanders I've ever used. They were cheap though, so there's that. All right, notch down. These things suck. I feel like you had to spread them wider than you probably should have. So I've never seen like the taper. Yeah, these things are, there's not a mark on this thing, so I'm sure they're very high quality. All right, then, so we get the chamfer. Chamfer is facing up and in. Double, triple check. Chamfer up and in for the compression ring. Alrighty. Sweet. Side clearance, 6/1000. Can't get that in. No, don't think it matters here. Pretty sure that's what we're talking about, side clearance. Ring groove side clearance, 2/1000 to... Oh, I read that wrong. So ring groove side clearance, 2/1000 to 3.5. I don't know where I got 7 from, but that definitely won't work. So we'll just touch that real quick. So this passes. Oh, yeah. It's a little tight there, but I think we're good. All right, that's fine. Feel pretty good about that. All right, it says, make sure match marks on connecting rod and rod cap are aligned and face flywheel side of the engine. All right, that's the match mark right there. That little... So this match mark needs to line up with that one, which checks out. All right, we're in good shape. Okay. Boy, if this is just... Oh, hey, look at that. Hey. That's awesome. My experience of these, you know, it's always been air compressors, anything this small, but this is what's applying the pressure. So if you're out here, it sort of splays out. Anyway. Match mark. Facing flywheel. Alrighty. Hoping. It's in. Hey. That's bottom dead center. We got some oil in here. I'm just going to come in here and give it not even half a flat tightness there, but just want to keep it from going anywhere. I'm just going to get this back up though. Top dead center, get some oil in there. Oh, beautiful. Get mad at that. All right, that was a pretty good morning. We got the connecting rod, piston, everything in the engine. Big end is capped. It is not torqued, but you know, it's on there, so it's not gonna go too far. I have exhausted my available time, so I gotta run in and look after little buddy. But good morning. It's early the next day. It's my last day home. I'm leaving. Actually, don't know when I'm leaving, but maybe early afternoon. So just wanted to get a few things buttoned up. I think first order of business is to torque the big end bearing bolts on the connecting rod. So I pulled up the page. After piston assembly is installed, attach connecting rod cap, lock plate, and cap screws to the connecting rod. Use torque wrench to tighten the connecting rod cap screws to 200 inch-pounds. The new con rod did not come with this locking plate. So I guess I'm going to try to reuse this. Just straighten these tabs out a little bit. Seems kind of cracking me. Nice. Yeah, half inch. That's pretty sweet. Match mark here. Match mark there. Nice fit. Let's get 200 inch-pounds divided by 12. 16 and a half. Put that one. Yeah. If we can block that somehow, maybe. Guess this is a 2 nose molding kind of job.
I don't know how many times you can bend this. What's that called? Low cycle fatigue. I don't know how many times you can bend that. I'll get in trouble, but hopefully that's not the last time. Let's just give this a little spinny spin. See. So I wish I knew the direction rotation of this thing. Still don't know if I figured that out. I'm sure it's got to be in a manual. Oh man, I was really hoping that it would be listed somewhere so I don't have to figure this out real early to be thinking about this. So that's the exhaust ARC on the compression stroke. Yep. It's exhaust. I'm having a difficult time. It's 5 a.m. and quarter cup of coffee in, and the engine's upside down. And I'm trying to figure out the direction of rotation going off of the strokes with the automatic compression release, and I am just confusing myself. So maybe I'll tackle that when I have a little more coffee in me. I think more than anything, the thread, these things should tighten as the flywheel spins, right? So the flywheel, I don't know. I'm just going to put the pan on. Ugh, that pan got dirty. Nothing says trustworthy like Tack Life HTW1A. Tack is like what horses use to exist. I'm not totally sure. I just know it's connected to horses somehow. Like consumables for horses, maybe. Anyway. Look at that. It's black on black. I didn't see that. That was probably worth it right there. You don't see these bad layers, so this is naughty. The step down like that. That might have been worth the price of admission right there. We need to get some windows open as the brake clean sets in. What is this? 3/8? Okay, MPT. Major diameter, 17 millimeter. 6.7. 3/8. All right, that'll at least keep anybody out of the engine. The seals aren't in, obviously, but that's, I think, better than nothing. We bring this sucker to top dead center. Cool. The dipstick with a bunch of crusties on there. See if I can get this cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to take our high performance head here. Let's pop it on. Just keeping debris out.
Just a little early for any sort of air tools or electric, really anything. So, all right, with that, I think we're going to call it on episode 6. Very happy with the progress. This thing is coming together super quickly. Probably no small part due to all of the prep work, and I'm feeling pretty darn familiar with these engines. One of the things, I sort of had an interesting situation growing up. My father was not the most mechanical guy around, but he did okay. He taught me what he knew, but he passed away. So there's a big gap in my knowledge base. I had some really lovely people in my life that helped mentor me and showed me what they could. Let me hang around their garage for better or worse. You know who you are. Thank you. But when it came to carburetors, I sort of just missed it. I think my first car was multi-port fuel injection, and then I got a diesel, and that was the end of it. So, this has always been one of those blind spots in my knowledge base, and it'd be nice to cast some light on it, so to speak. So, anyway, next episode should be pretty awesome. It's just going to take us a minute to button this thing back up and then go through all the checks. So that's that. If you're still here, thanks for sticking in there. I hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Maybe drop a comment, especially if you know of a good timing tool. And I will see you over on episode 7 of the 1966 John Deere 110 Round Fender rebuild.